CoroCoro, I am disappointed.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon discussion. This isn't necessarily going to be a CoroCoro discussion because there really isn't that much to talk about in regards to CoroCoro, so instead we're going to talk about all the plethora of Pokemon that has come out already, and I'm glad that I waited this long to try and make this particular video. Now, you're probably hearing something in the background. That is my computer. There's really nothing I could do about it. I wish it wasn't that loud, but I can't have fans on. I've tried to put my fans as far away as possible so I can stay cool and my computer can stay cool, but the microphone will pick up, so I can't really do anything about the computer noise you're hearing, so I definitely apologize for that. Also, because of some cleaning up issues, this might be my new way of recording a video, so if I look over like over here, I apologize. I just had to shift this because I had to take down the thing that covered my window and put something on the other side of the window so that air can circulate and make this room hopefully cooler and with fresher, basically. So, and I apologize for not making videos longer. I still have a video, even though doesn't matter. But anyway, let's just jump right into this. So, like I said, we're going to talk about everything that was revealed. The 6 new Pokemon, although technically it's more like 4 new Pokemon, at least if you're going from previously or whatever. So I'm going to go in the order of the trailer. I won't talk much about the trailer. I don't have a live reaction for it. Instead, I'll just talk about the Pokemon from the official English website, as I looked it up and stuff, because they usually upload when there's new, or update when there's new information. So let's just jump right into this already. First off, we have Wimpod, which is this particular Pokemon, and while I'm not really sure I like the whole idea of a turn-tail wimpy Pokemon, I do like the fact that Wimpod is an isopod, possibly, or maybe it's just anthropod, but it does definitely look like an isopod, especially when you think of those giant isopods out there. So I don't know, it seems like a Pokemon that I will definitely enjoy, especially if it evolves. I'm hoping that it does evolve, so yeah. Wimpod, of course, as I said, is the turn-tail Pokemon possessing bug water typing, with Wimpout as an ability that lets it flee in battle either by running away when it's a wild Pokemon or swapping with another Pokemon on the team. Hopefully you'll get to choose what that Pokemon is rather than just a random Pokemon being sent out. That would probably make it useful. And in this particular way, you could possibly train Wimpod very well. Once its health goes below 50% or whatever, it just recalls and you could send out your stronger Pokemon. So from a training aspect, I think that's really nice. Hopefully it evolves relatively quick and turns around and does everything. So let's continue on. It definitely is a very cowardly Pokemon. The funny thing about this Pokemon is, even though they are cowardly, they are curious. And like I said, all this information is on the official English Pokemon website anyway. The website also mentions that they eat and store anything that's falling on the ground. They serve as the cleaners of the sea and also carry pearls, which make them a target for humans and specifically Murkrow. So as I've said, I expect this thing to evolve into a non-coward Pokemon with maybe an inverse ability, which would be cool, where if the opponent becomes less than half, they leave the area. Now that would be interesting to have a ability like that, like the reverse ability, like I I was a wimp. When I was less than half health, I fled the area, but now it's your turn to flee the area now that I've gotten your health down to half. So that would definitely be an interesting concept. So Of course, then we move on to a really cute Pokemon, which is Bounsweet. Now, of course, this thing, as I said, is pretty cute. It's some fruit-based Pokemon. I don't know what it could be, a berry, or there was something that I think Bulbapedia said what it was, but I'm not entirely sure I agree with them. I mean, I think I would need more official confirmation that it would be based off of that particular thing, which I'm not entirely sure what it was. So I do wonder if this evolves. I mean, I'm expecting this to maybe be like Cherubi or something where it could evolve. Given that it's presented, it would be incredibly unfair to not just give this Pokemon an evolution. Most likely, I expect a tree-based evolution. That would be really cool to have a Bounsweet being a berry, and then it like evolves into like a tree where if one of its fruits fall on the ground, it becomes Bounsweet. That'd be an interesting concept to consider. Um, it's the fruit Pokemon, so that means it is a grass type Pokemon, and if I'm not mistaken, the rest of the Pokemon I will say their types when I say their names as well. So just just these two were just a little off. So it's the fruit and has Leaf Guard and Oblivious, so which are abilities we've already had. They're not new. Leaf Guard prevents status effects during the sunny weather, and of course Oblivious prevents the Pokemon from being infatuated with Attract, as well as Captivate, as well as preventing Taunt, at least if Bulbapedia is to be believed. So, Bounsweet is popular because it exudes a sweet aroma that calms humans. Because of that, it serves as an air freshener. Basically, in the Alola region, people let wild Pokemon come in, make their home smell better, or at least that's implied with the whole many people let them live inside their home as a sort of air freshener. Bounsweet has a chance to be swallowed whole because of its aroma. Runaway frightening basically involves them bouncing in a way where it doesn't convey they are in trouble. So, see the way that it is, it's like destined to like die basically or be eaten. So it would be unfair if it didn't evolve into something a little bit stronger so that it could defend itself a little bit better. So it also has an attack with the calyx on its head by spinning it. I assume the calyx is the green part of Bounsweet that you saw, or here you can see it again. That green part I think is called the calyx, I'm assuming. Alright, so let's of course move on to the next one. We have Comfey or Comfey. If it is based off of a lay like I think it is, I think it might be Comfey, but I can understand why people would say it's Comfey. So Comfey is the posy picker Pokemon, and also is a pure fairy type. Obviously, when you see this obviously when you first see this thing, the first thing that pops into your head when you see Comfey is a fairy type. So it makes sense that it would be a fairy type because it really does look fairy-like. The, this thing looks kind of cool, I kind of like the whole lay concept of it. It kind of looks like a Klefki situation, so I don't expect it to evolve. Although it is very small, it ties with Joltik, Cutiefly, and Flababy as small. It's technically only 4 inches. I guess that's referring to the actual creature. I don't know if that's including the ring or even the flowers, but yeah, it seems like really small. So, also Comfey seems to be based on a lei which goes around your neck, as I've already mentioned. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not sure. I don't expect it to evolve. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so it also possesses the ability Flower Veil or Triage. Grass types will not be able to have their stats lowered if it's Flower Veil. And I say here, I'm just going to quickly go through it, but I kind of wish Game Freak would stop giving pure fairy types Flower Veil. I mean, it sort of makes more sense why Comfey is not part grass, but I don't think it made any sense for Florges, and I'm not seeing why all these fairy types have Flower Veil, and yet they're not grass types. It's like they're purposely making it like that so that they don't benefit from the ability. And abilities shouldn't only be supportive. I mean, with Comfy, when I get to it, it does make sense or whatever, but it doesn't make any sense that these fairy types are not benefiting from their abilities. And that was the case with Florges. It didn't benefit at all with its abilities. It was only a supportive Pokemon, which really doesn't make much sense considering that if Florges had a viable ability, Florges would probably be one of the best fairy types within the games, if I'm not mistaken. It's just held back by its ability, unlike, say, Sylveon, which I believe has Pixelate. So, yeah, you know. So I feel like they're giving Flower Veil and those other type of, that other, maybe it's symbiosis or something that Florges has, just because they don't want that particular Pokemon to benefit. I don't know if it makes sense for Comfy, but luckily it has a more useful ability. So yeah, and of course that's Triage, which allows restoring moves. Presumably Synthesis, apparently it may be using that in the trailer that we saw of Comfey. So it gives it top priority. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it comes before anything else. The Pokemon is allowed to heal before any moves. So, like, or heal pulse or something, or any other healing move or whatever. So, I've said before, I'm not really a competitive player, but I can imagine that Triage would definitely be a very good ability to stall, like, I don't know, maybe poison the opponent or something, maybe in double battles or something, and use Triage to heal your opponent and try to stall until the Pokemon faints or something like that. Maybe weather effect or whatever. I guess it'll just have to depend on the circumstances. But I'm not sure if that strategy is viable with Comfy, or if there needs to be some other sort of uh, other Pokemon with Triage as its ability. So, one last thing here is also Comfey helps with the treatment of people and Pokemon at Pokemon centers and hospitals thanks to its aroma. Pretty sure Triage is also another reason why it is helpful in regard to that, but of course it wasn't listed on the website. So anyway, moving on, we have Mudsdale, the draft horse Pokemon, and is part ground. Now, this thing is awesome. I think of the 6 Pokemon that have been revealed recently, I think this is my favorite of the bunch. It really does look awesome. I definitely appreciate it and its design, and I'm hoping that it has this cute baby horse pre-evolution. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had Go-Goat first, and then we found out that Skiddo existed, and there may have been a lot of other instances where we've gotten the evolution first, so I'm really hoping this thing has a pre-evolution, and I'm hoping it's not like Tauros or Buffalant or even Miltank or whatever. I want this thing to have a pre-evolution, something that I can catch early and then train into Mudsdale, because this thing looks really cool. Obviously, this is based off the Clydesdale horse. Obviously, the name is Clydesdale, which are, of course, are draft horse Pokemon, and they have that weird hair or whatever it is on their hooves or around their feet or whatever. They have those fluffed up hair particles, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Apologies for not quite remembering the name of it. And of course, with Mudsdale, it has mud instead of hair. So yeah, maybe I can. Yeah, here's a picture of Clydesdale right over here. You know, that, look at the feet. You know, those are like the distinctive features of a draft horse, basically. So yeah, so anyway, it also possesses what I'm assuming is a signature ground type move called High Horsepower, which seemingly attacks the opponent with a horseshoe, you know, because yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like a horseshoe, like a muddy horseshoe. So yeah, that definitely does seem to be interesting. It can have one of 2 abilities. It can have Own Tempo, which prevents confusion, or Stamina, which raises the defense each time it's hit. If it's any move, that's going to be an amazing ability, and it looks epic, as I've said, as a Pokemon design-wise. Uh, it is known for being powerful and not showing much emotion. It's like the Vulcan Pokemon species almost. It just doesn't show that when it's hurt or whatever. It doesn't let its emotion. It's like very fortitude strong in regards to how it presents its emotions or whatever. So Mudsdale can apparently travel 3 days and 3 nights carrying a load of 10 tons, which is a lot. This thing is strong. When it gallops, it can dig out holes even in asphalt, and because of this, Mudsdale is forbidden to run in most public roads as a result of how powerful it is. So I uh, definitely enjoy these new Pokemon that have shown up. So now let's move into the Pokemon that were revealed in CoroCoro recently. Of course, we first off have is Mimikyu. Now, I think the reason why it took me so long to make this particular video, or even these two Pokemon, since the Pokemon just recently come out, is because I wasn't sure what to say of them. They just felt off for me. You know, I just couldn't quite believe that they were real and they were off, you know, and especially Mimikyu. But having thought about it, and with the English reveal, I'm actually okay with the two Pokemon that were revealed. Uh, Now, I say here, I'm not sure how I like the idea of Mimikyu having drawn Pikachu eyes and cheeks, but apparently it's because Mimikyu itself created that or whatever. So I guess it doesn't really matter all that much because it was something that Mimikyu does. It still feels a little awkward because it kind of. Have you ever seen those like cartoons or animes or whatever where they have these what kind of looks like three-dimensional 2D drawn images or something like a stick figure in like an anime or a stick figure in a cartoon or something, and how awkward it looks with those drawn eyes and cheeks. It kind of gives that appearance that it just doesn't, that it seems like it's something that doesn't belong. It doesn't look proper like it should be, but I guess they can only do so much in regards to the graphics of Pokemon. So I'm also, I'm okay, I guess you could say, with it being based off of a discarded toy Pokemon, I guess, or at least something that Mimikyu put together to make it look like Pikachu. But with Togedemaru, I'm not entirely sure we needed a more obvious Pikachu ripoff. You know, I mean, I get it. Pikachu is a very popular Pokemon, but it would have been nice if this thing had like different forms or different ability, or not different ability, different appearances that weren't just based off of Pikachu, because I can't imagine why it's called Mimikyu regardless just because it wants to be a Pikachu. I mean, I feel like it would be something based off of Pikachu a little bit more than it is, but it's whatever. So, and I guess since it does become the Pikachu. It does look like a Pikachu because it is a very lonely Pokemon. So it dresses up as Pikachu to make friends with humans and stuff. So, but even though it looks like a very obvious Pikachu clone, despite its typing, it's a ghost fairy, which is an unfortunate typing. I mean, it's an awesome, unique typing, but something that I will address in a different type of video that's not related to the game. So, and its real eyes are on the bottom of the toy, I believe. Like, there was one image, I don't know if I'll be able to show you, but when its disguise is broke or whatever, its eyes like glue or whatever, and and the Pikachu tail seems to be wooden in nature, like it was just some stick. But so maybe Mimikyu can learn some sort of grass type move because of it or something. Or maybe it's just some decoration, you know. I like Kadabra has a, like, what I'm assuming is a metallic spoon in Alakazam, but I don't think they can learn any metal type attacks. I mean, the most I can think of is maybe Iron Head, but I'm not really sure on that. So anyway, it is the disguised Pokemon, rumored to cover itself to avoid the sunlight and always stays hidden. It also has the ability to disguise, which allows it to escape damage from attack just one time, and its appearance changes. So I guess this means like you attack it for the first time, it takes no damage. I don't know if this is a constant thing, like once you're out of battle you go in. I don't know if this is a full health thing or whatever, but it would be interesting each time it were to, although that, I think that would be broken because maybe, I mean your other Pokemon that you switch in would probably take damage, but I can see how this could be broken, because if you could, if it's not like sturdy or something that leaves you with 1 HP and you have full health and whatever, I can see how people could abuse this, even though I'm not competitive. But I'm assuming you just switch out Mimikyu for another Pokemon, and then you switch to Absorb, and then maybe if you had like 2 Mimikyu or whatever, you would like switch between them. So I'm hoping there's some limitation in regards to its ability, like it has to be at full health, or it can only do it once during an entire battle. So hopefully it's not as broken. Of course, when its appearance changed, we also kind of got a glimpse of what its true form is. This, of course, is just speculation on my part, but I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming Mimikyu is actually a black shadow ghost, like one of those Pac-Man ghosts, but with more substance and uh, a black coloring, with eyes and stuff, and it can have these shadowy black claws or whatever. I think that's what Mimikyu looks like, at least based on what we see. I think it's very basic, so it looking like Pikachu is actually probably making its design a little bit more unique, rather than just a weird black shadow creature that looks like a ghost, basically. So, and of course we see that with the shadowy claws when it used like Slash or something, I believe, and or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go, of course, into the final Pokemon here, which of course is Beware or whatever, or Bware or whatever. I'll just say Bware. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'll just say Beware. So, I mean, it's so. So I'll say Beware. So anyway, so let's go. Beware is the strong arm Pokemon. I think it is a normal fighting, and I'm personally okay with it for the most part. Let me go back to the strong arm Pokemon. We see what might be an exclusive, not, I don't know if it's a signature exclusive move, but it seems like it's a very new fighting type move that we see. And we see this like giant arm in the trailer smashing Pangoro and pretty much knocking it out. So anyway, I mean, yeah, so let's go with my opinion of this particular Pokemon. So yeah, I mean, yes, I do have some apprehension about it. Not because its design is bad, because when I saw it, it was because when I first saw it, it didn't look like a Pokemon, really. It just seemed like a cartoon animal creature. But at the same, so it was still pretty cute, I guess you could say, pretty interesting, pretty normal, not like ugly or hideously disgusting to look at or whatever. But it didn't really feel like a Pokemon. But after a while, I can kind of see it being a Pokemon now. I think I've rationalized it or whatever. Still a little strange. I am thrown by it because it looks like something that you would see in another cartoon, not necessarily Pokemon. But it's whatever. So anyway, this Pokemon is dangerous because apparently it has a lot of strength. I think it's unfair. I personally think it's unfair to treat a Pokemon just because it could basically smash through your house and destroy it. But I can understand why people would be wary of it, so I guess being cautious is very important, but I do think it's a little weird that people would like be like afraid of it, or like basically hate it, basically, is what the feeling I get, and I feel like that's a little unfair. Yes, it's very strong. I'm expecting this Pokemon to have like a ridiculous attack stat, but very low other stats or whatever, like extremely low special attack, maybe mediocre defenses, mediocre speed or whatever, but just a ridiculous attack stat. It might even be the strongest Pokemon in the world. So anyway, yeah. So it has Klutz and Fluffy. Klutz is irrelevant because you can't hold items in regards to that, which I think is a ridiculous ability. I have no idea why it exists. There may be some strategic reason to have Klutz, but I'm pretty sure no one would ever want Klutz on any Pokemon. I mean, no one wants Truant on Durant, so I don't know why that ability can be used by other Pokemon that aren't as strong as Slack King. But anyway, but its other ability, the better ability, is Fluffy, which blocks half damage from all physical attacks. The only problem is because of Fluffy, Beware is weak against fire, so not only is it weak against fighting types because of its normal typing, it's also weak against psychic and other things like that, and it's also, with Fluffy, definitely weak against fire. So sometimes you'll run into Beware that or that don't take damage, who only take neutral damage from fire types, and then of course you'll get Pokemon that take twice as much damage. So it's it's very interesting that it gives it an additional weakness despite its typing of normal fighting. So I think that's pretty much it. All I have to say in regards to this Pokemon. Interesting Pokemon. Some I like, others I'm not sure I like as much, but I don't necessarily hate any of them. I mean, even looking back, I hated some 5th gen Pokemon, but I've gotten to the point where I don't even remember what I hated, and it's just like, whatever. I just don't really have very fond uh, emotions towards that particular Pokemon. So anyway, so this generation so far seems to me a mix of other generations, and by that I mean some of them are cool designs and unique and interesting, and some are comparable to 6th gen or even better. Some look like a little washed out, kind of look like 5th gen. A lot of these Pokemon look like something that could have appeared in an earlier generation, but had waited until 7th generation. And there's like, to me, there's like really nothing that stands out that says, oh, yeah, this is definitely the design style of this particular generation. At most, I think the only thing we have is the 3 starters and Solgaleo and Lunala. That's pretty much the only thing that I can think of. The other Pokemon seem like something that they could have appeared in other generations. So anyway, there were also other things in the trailer, but they're less irrelevant and they're only primarily for competitive players, I guess. There is this hyper training game that I will talk about, and it can further strengthen a Pokemon's stats or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. In regards to its level or whatever, so it can definitely increase. I'm not entirely sure whatever it is, but it seems to be interesting. A lot of people are giving it a lot of criticism and stuff or whatever, thinking that it makes the game way too easy or something like that. But I can understand the benefit of taking a long time to train the right Pokemon, but I feel like when it takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours just to get the right Pokemon, and even further to train it properly, that I personally can imagine that would take the fun out of it. But if you add like a mini game or battle facility where you earn the bottle caps or whatever that you can give to Mr. Hyper to raise your Pokemon up so that you can be as max strength or whatever, that would be great. I mean, something fun, a Pokemon training shouldn't be arduous. It shouldn't be hard. I'm sure there are still people that won't care about that aspect and will continue to train their Pokemon with all that effort that they put into it. But the way that I see it is it's fun, and I can imagine why Game Freak would want to do that. They would want to make something fun. They would want to make training fun. They would want to make training actually fun, rewarding, rather than relief reward, which is what I think right now training Pokemon so they're competitive is right now. I think it's just a relief reward as far as I'm concerned. It's like, whew, finally done training that son of a gun. Yeah. You know, and then this is like, ooh, yes, I did it. I did this thing. You know, I feel like that's what they were going for Game Freak. So I'm not really understanding the criticisms for hyper training. I think it will be a fun experience. So I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say in regards to this particular video. If there's more new trailers, more new Pokemon, or more new information being revealed, I will see you then. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.